You're not the villain in my story. I am, he says without remorse, his sharp jaw tight with tension. But I'll be the villain for you, not to you. And today we are chatting about the first 3 books in the Plated Prisoner series
Yep.
by Raven Kennedy.
And the reason why it's the first 3 books is because somebody hasn't finished the rest of the series, but we're not going to call her out or anything.
No, definitely not.
Hey, in her
Oh,
defense, she had to return the books to the library and she hasn't been back, okay?
that's fair. Very fair.
Other people wanted the books apparently, okay? So,
So good.
I think, okay, who wants to do the summary, me or you? It might be funnier if I do it. I don't know.
It probably would be funnier if you do it.
Okay, so book 1 is essentially her trapped in a cage in a castle and she doesn't realize that she's a prisoner. She willingly became a prisoner, and somewhere between book 1 and book 2, because they kind of blur, because, I read them like a year ago while I was in a 20-plus hour flight. King Midas decides to, so it's a King Midas retelling, sort of. I like the twist on it, though. King Midas decides to take over another kingdom because there's like 6 or 7 kingdoms, and he cannot be without her because she is, spoiler, she's actually the goldfinch, gold goose, golden bird that lays the golden egg. I don't know.
Goose. Oh my god. She's gold touch.
Okay, there we go. Somewhere along book 1 to book 2, he sends for her because he's already conquered or is in the process of conquering it. And she gets kidnapped by people on a ship, so pirates. And it's not just her. She's also with the other ladies of the night that the king has. I don't know what you would call them. They're not prostitutes.
They're called saddles.
Saddles. And then they try to escape the ship because is the ship in water or is the ship in snow? Because
I believe the ship was in snow.
okay.
Because it's pulled by those huge snowcats.
Right. Okay.
With like fire for paws.
And then she gets saved by a giant slug who you don't the way they describe him, he sounds like a giant slug. He's got spikes sticking out of his, or caterpillar. I don't know. I just imagine him as a giant slug, okay? Or like an alien slug. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, as you go through it, he's not that. But when I first pictured him, I'm like, why is there a bug? I'm like, I'm down for, I read monster romance. Like, I'll read bug romance too. Like, it's fine.
Oh my god.
But he's not really a bug. But he does have things protruding out of
not.
his body. And
he does. Yeah, Rip does.
He's not repulsive, he's repugnant? No. He can kill things. Like flowers and stuff. What is it? Does he release goo or something that kills the land around him or the... You're looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, I was trying to figure out what they call it because it's not that he sends something to kill, it's that he actually like takes the life from whatever it is that he's targeting. So whether it's the ground, a tree, people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
but what you have to because you have 2 different people who have 2 different powers
in the same
so
body.
You have Rip, but we don't know that yet.
Yes, spoiler.
I can't remember when that reveal happens. But
book 3.
I want to say it's
book 2 or
I was
book
gonna
3?
say I thought it was like book 3 or 4.
Yeah, no,
okay.
We definitely know in book 4 for sure. So it has to happen in book 3. And I think it happens when she's in his room and his brother shows up as one of the creatures, as one of his sides. And she's like,
yeah.
And she realizes that it's his brother who looks just like him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, he has, so he, I don't know why he's attacking the pirate boat in the snow, but as they're escaping, he comes and then he takes them, and you know that he knows something about her, so I was under the assumption that he knew that she was Fae, and of course, I originally called it as, "Ooh, I wonder if they're mates." And she's really naive and stupid and makes friends with everybody, but she has
Okay, she's naive. She's not stupid. At no point is she stupid. She is naive because she has been sheltered in a castle her entire life, except for when she was on the run.
okay.
Just
So
because someone trusts doesn't mean they're stupid.
no, but I'm going
She hasn't.
I you are 100% correct that she is naive because of the shelteredness, but now she's out in the world and she is seeing things, and at this point in the book, she has the opportunity to stay and have a new life or go back to what she's always known, to the imprisonment, with this new mindset. And once you become that person or that self consciousness where you can make decisions about your own life or destiny or path or whatever, sometimes those decisions are stupid.
Right, you're not wrong, but my counterpoint to that is she just suffered a terrible trauma. She lost her guard. She saw him stabbed in front of her and die in the snow, something that she's never encountered before. She also just had to realize that Midas hasn't been taking care of the town with her goal like she thought they were. And she had the trauma of being whatever assaulted on the ship with the pirates. So I think when you have somebody who has had a series of trauma after being so sheltered for so long, to them it feels safer going back to something they hate but know, rather than go forward with a new mindset with somebody new that they don't know and they don't know is safe.
I think I think subconsciously she knew that he was safe with her or that she was safe with him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I totally want to counter
But she
that.
wasn't ready to do
I want
what?
to counter that. This is just going to be the counter episode, okay?
We're just gonna go back and forth.
I don't disagree with anything that you just said, but the part that I disagree about is, yes, she had those experiences, but when she's in the camp with Wraith or Slaith or Slug or whatever his name is, Slade, right? Maybe?
I can't. I mean, that's his name, but I can't remember if that's what he was going by with her at that point, because I'm pretty sure it was Rip for
Okay,
a
Rip
good
and
bit.
Slade. Okay. Janice the coin, like whatever. When she's in that camp, she is not suffering any side effects of trauma. She's going and talking with the people and meeting the chef, and then she starts training with the people. So if she was like locked in the tent, like scared or whatever, like I feel like that could play a part of it. And I do believe that those experiences leading up to when she has to make the decision do impact that decision. But and I'm not saying that you have to show signs of trauma. Well, actually, yeah, I am, because we're in the book and we're seeing the character. So if you want us to know that they're experiencing trauma, we have to see it. Because otherwise we get into the whole, because the book is from her perspective, right?
It switches perspective, but yeah.
But it is first person. Yeah. So we're in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Hold
Yes.
on.
Yeah, we're in her head.
So we know that she's not suffering from nightmares, cold sweats, fear that somebody's going to touch her, grab her. She is just willy nilly, just making friends and having a great time. So that's my counter to that. But I do agree that all of those experiences do lead up to the decision where Rip or Slaith, Sade, whatever his name is, says, "Hey, are you going to stay
Slid.
or are you going to go?" And then, like you said, she's going to go because she's not fully awake yet. And then so
Yeah.
that somehow toggles from book 2 to book 3. So she finally makes it back to King Midas, and now she's like, yeah, no, I'm not going back in my cage. Like, what are you talking about? I know
Right.
what's out there now, and I know that I don't need this layer of, and I'm going to say in quotations, protection, because that's what he made her believe being in the cage was.
Right.
So now she's having to battle King Midas with her freedom and boundaries and such. And she's exploring and she's starting to become more self-aware, I guess. And Rip helps her with
Yeah.
that. Their little secret rendezvous. And her ribbons, love.
Does that happen in book 3
Yes.
or no? Oh,
I'm
this.
pretty sure we won't. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's at the end of book 3. We may be slipping into book 4, y'all. It's okay. But her ribbons love Rip. Like they know that
Yeah,
they're mates. Like it's like, and I don't
yeah.
know. We never really know at what point Rip realizes, but I'm pretty sure as soon as he sees her, like he knows. And so, a couple of things that I left out is that her ribbons are extensions of her. They're not her hair, but
Mhm.
they're like around her. They're like her back. Like imagine if you had wings, but they're not wings. They're ribbons that hang from your back. And
Yep.
she is also completely covered in gold.
Yeah.
And
Like sees gold, is gold, touches things and turns them to gold.
only
Yeah.
during the day though. She cannot touch anything during the day, but at night her gold power goes away. Did I understand that correctly?
Mhm.
Because that's how
Mhm.
she's able
Yeah.
to boink Rip. Because they have to wait for the
Yeah.
sun to go down.
Dude, that scene.
That scene was pretty hot. And
Holy crap.
so finally, at the end of book 3, which again, we might be pulling into book 4, but I don't think so. I think it's all book 3. She finally stands up to Midas and she's like, "No, this isn't happening," because Midas decides to marry somebody else to get power. And she's like, what? By the way, Midas has a wife who's trying to take back her old kingdom. He never married. I don't even know what her name is. Goldie? I just called her
Mel-
Goldie. What's her name?
the Midas's wife?
No, the main female character.
Aaron.
All right. We're just going to call her Goldie. And she gets upset when Midas is about to marry somebody else because he claims that he loves her and he never wants to marry her. And then there's this whole thing, and the queen, like the queen that the second wife of Midas, they're not married yet, kind of like threatens Goldie and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna have his baby." Da 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 da. I mean, there's a lot of side stories that are not really important. That may be important. I don't think they're important, but okay. Goldie has like made sort of friendships, sort of deals with people to try and escape and get away, but finally she's like, "Fuck it, this is enough. I'm not going to go through with this," and she ends up killing Midas, which was the best moment of the
In
book.
a yeah. I mean, total brutal scene, and I
Yeah,
loved it.
it was. But then nobody believes that she's actually the gold. They think that just because she slept with him, that she absorbed his power, and so I don't know how that's going to play out because I haven't finished book 4. So Midas does some horrible things to her before she kills him, and
Oh,
he locks her in the way he gets her to comply is Digby is not really dead. He made it back, but he's been locked up as a prisoner, and Midas has been beating him every time she doesn't comply to his wishes like she used to. And she gets taken down there because she's like, "I'm not doing anything until you show me Digby because I don't believe that he's alive." And he's alive, and she uses her ribbons to attack Midas.
because Digby is in such deplorable condition.
Yeah, and
And
this
for
motherfucker,
our
sorry, Jen,
no, it's okay.
he fucking cuts her ribbons. He cuts them off.
Yep.
A piece of her. These are living pieces of her soul. And I remember texting you. I'm pretty sure, like in all caps, like this did not, like, she gets them back, right? I still don't know the answer to that question, but I was very, that I there's a lot of things that I can handle. I don't really have triggers, but that was like, even for me, I was like, that was taking it too far. And so,
Yeah. I mean, and like Raven left no detail untouched. Like I think that's what made the scene so visceral was she described like the feelings, the literal physical feelings and the emotional feelings so well, and you just found out that Digby's alive and he's like might not even make it because he's been beaten so bad. Like it's yeah, that scene wrecked me.
Mhm.
Wrecked me.
Yeah, me too. So that I think that's a pretty semi high level overview of the first 3 books.
Yeah.
Now, as y'all know, we always start the episode with a quote. And as we were looking for quotes, I made some notes in my Kindle because I was reading them as ebooks as I was flying on a very long trip. And in book 2, at 3%, I had highlighted a quote and then I made a note because this is how I was feeling. And this note is for Jenn. And so I'm going to read Jenn this note who doesn't know about it. This is what I said in 3% of what book? Glint. That's book 2. I said, I wanted to message how much I dislike this book. Already passed over Callie and flying over the ocean. So like I couldn't I couldn't download any other book or message Jenn
Oh.
because I was like I'm 3% of the way in and then at 90% I had just highlighted King Midas. I don't know what that was, but I made this note and I said at this point I can't believe I'm still reading this stupid series. But something it's because I didn't download another series. Oh, but sadly, it's because I didn't download another series. That was at 90% of book 2.
It's, that's funny.
Yeah. I was
Hold on.
like, it was rough. And I don't know if it was because I was in the airplane and it's uncomfortable or what, but I struggled quite a bit.
Okay.
So, yes, I think things started picking up better for me. I just think book 1 was so redundant. Like I know this is part of the problem what I have with fantasy where book 1 takes so long to build up the world and like get into the story and the characters because I really wasn't interested in the series and just a little bit of interest obviously from my notes was until she was at the camp with Rip and his crew.
Yeah.
And then I got pissed off because
No,
she
I
didn't stay with him.
no, I remember like burning through the first 3 books, and it's so funny that you're like enjoying reading book 4 because
Mhm.
I slogged through book 4.
Yeah, no, I once I realized that it was like him and her and like the few 4 or 3 people that he trusts, like I don't know. I guess I wanted more of Rip and Goldie on the page together and they're not on the page a lot until book 4. Like it's snippets here and
Yeah.
there. And it almost so as I'm reading between book 1 and 2 and when I land, I needed to know who she ended up with because I don't like love triangles. I am a why choose reverse harem girl. She needs all the love, and I don't want to invest time with the main character being with somebody that they're not going to end up with. That is irritating to me. And so I think that's part of the negative connotation I had with this is because she's with this person that she's not going to end up with. And so I don't need to know about her relationship with Midas. It's not I mean a little bit like maybe spend one
Mm,
chapter on her relationship and history with Midas, but then after that like it doesn't matter because she's supposed to be with Rip. And I think that was my part of my problem with it is because I mean up until book 4, I think they're maybe on page less than 10 times.
maybe.
Maybe even less than that. Them two. Not her locked up in the cage or playing the flute while he's sitting at the table with all the royalty people, like interactions between the two of them, besides when they're in the camp,
Yeah.
which even then that's limited. For the first 3 books, I want to say it's not that many.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. Somebody will probably correct me at some point who's read it and is more of a fan than I am. But yeah, so I think that's why I'm loving book 4 so much is because there's so much of them on the page. And like now like the opening quote, like I feel in book 4, like it reinforces that. He's like, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to help you heal. Like, these are the things that we're going to do. And I'm only like, I think, a quarter of a way into book 4. Book 4 is really long.
Mm-hmm.
I should potentially go to the library and see if they're available again this weekend, but I'm probably not. Just throwing that out there in case anybody was wondering when that was going to happen until Jen pokes me again. Although I probably should read them soon since you finally read book 5 and 6 and it's still sort of fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, yeah.
But I
But
the twist of her having the gold touch, I really liked that. I
yeah, me
liked
too.
I liked the hint of the history of the human world versus the Fey world. Still haven't really got into
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm hoping we'll get more into that later in the series. And I liked how I don't know what I was going to say. I'm trying to find things that I liked instead of all the things that I disliked.
Mm.
I mean, I do finally
I like
like.
his wrath.
Oh yeah, is that what?
I really like the characters of his wrath.
Yeah, I like all of his characters. I'm trying to think.
What are you gonna say?
I I don't know. Who knows what I was gonna say? A lot of time has passed since then. I think wasn't it only supposed to be 3 books?
I think it was initially supposed to be 4 or 5 because I read 4, and at that point it was going to be 5 books, and when like a few months before the 5th one was supposed to be released, she announced that there was going to be a 6th. So I it pissed me off, and I already didn't like the 4th book, so that's why it took me so long to finish the series, was because JLA did the same exact thing with her Flesh and Fire series that summer, and it just really irritated me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this series could have been a trilogy.
I don't disagree with that. I would say 3 or 4 books. I agree that it did not need to be 6.
Yeah, because you could cut more than half of book 1 for sure.
I don't remember enough of it to say. I mean, I remember like you just have a ton of world building and like
Her just
meeting
walking
different
the
players
castle,
and yeah.
going to different because he has a cage throughout the whole castle that she can walk through. That's essentially
Yeah.
what fucking book 1 was, which was irritating. At least what I remember.
Yeah.
And then just talking this out because you already know. I don't think the queen that Midas was the second queen that Midas was going to marry. Hopefully she's not the next big bad because that's just going to be irritating. Because now that Midas is dead, I don't know what's besides her like doing. I don't know what the fuck she's going to do now that Midas is dead. So
Yeah.
I don't know who the next big bad will be, but hopefully it'll be good. Just okay. Just tell me one thing. Her and Rip end up together, right? Never mind. The look on your face. Jen, if I read this series and they don't end up together, I'm going to burn it, okay? I'm going to burn the whole thing.
You would find out the answers if you just finished the series. You'll have all the answers you want.
I'm just going to Google it.
No!
That is too much stress and anxiety to try and read big fucking books, 3 more big fucking books that are going to take half of my life. Not life, but like a lot of my time. And then I don't get the ending that I want. The only other ending I would accept is if both of them die.
Of course you would. I'm not saying shit. Not saying shit.
Ugh. Fine. Okay. Well, there. If
I feel like you know me well enough that I loved these books.
yes,
I feel like that should give you at least some answers.
that is true.
Because I don't do not happy ever afters.
They could still have happily ever afters and not be together. I'm just saying. But I'm going to be pissed if we spent all this time with Rip and she doesn't end up. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I think this is one of those series, at least for me, and I hate to say this, that you have to get past book one because to me, book one was not enjoyable. And you don't fully have to get to book three, but you do have to get to book two because you have to get past the world building, which is something that I struggle with.
Yeah, and I mean, and we've talked about that a lot on the
Mm-hmm.
podcast, like how many series you. I mean, Akatar is a prime example of you have to get through. I mean, granted, I loved the first book of the series, but I mean, it's a lot, especially fantasy series or romantasy series. Like the first book for most of them it's world building, you're meeting the characters, like you start having like bits and pieces of a plot, but it isn't until book 2 or 3 or 2 and 3 rather where like the pace is picked up, you have more character development, you have more plot development, etc. And I think that's probably one of the things that stops me from reading as much romantasy anymore. I haven't read a whole lot of it lately because I am currently I enjoy standalones. Like I want to go into a book, I want to know what I'm dealing with, I want to know the plot points, and then I want for it to be done. And I think it's just because I read so much romantasy where you're just like up down up down up down throughout the entire series, and sometimes it's just tough.
100% agree. I've always been a standalone girly.
Yeah,
They're
it just you can have such great books in standalone series, and I really think that authors I think I would love to see a romantasy author come out that like only does standalones, but they do it exceptionally well. And I can't think of
Mulford,
anybody off the top of my head.
High Mountain Court.
It's an interconnect. I mean, I mean, I guess you could consider it a standalone, but like, I
So
mean, it's still interconnected. I just have like higher plot points that follow into the next book, and that standalone was awful. Or the first book was awful.
well, the ending of the first book was that poker scene is still my favorite.
Yeah, the poker scene was. I mean, I just there's so many parts of that book I just didn't. I just didn't care for.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying.
Like I'm sorry.
I I think that's something that needs to be defined as standalone, interconnected, and then like series. There are very few
Yeah,
like series books that I love. Like Bonds of the Tide's a very good example of that. That's a really good series. But then I have a lot of interconnected where it's the same couple and it's multiple books. So like Janine
yeah,
Frost with Cat and Bones, like that's 7 books. Patricia Briggs with her Alpha and Omega and Mercedes Thompson. There is a conclusion of that book, but if you want to continue in that world with the same characters, then you can continue to read. But like cliffhanger books, ugh.
yeah, yeah. My little heart just can't handle cliffhangers right now.
Yeah. Is there anything I left out that you want to touch on?
Probably not because I so many. I mean, obviously, like so many of the questions, the concerns, the whatever that's up in the air right now is answered in books 5 and 6, especially 6. And I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But I mean, I loved the books. I read the first 3 I think in like a few days when I first read them.
Nice.
I love Rip so much.
I do too.
I adore RN. I do feel like I mean even as the books progress, she keeps a naivete about her. And it's something that, like, I kind of struggle with because at that point, like, she's been through a lot. But I love that regardless of the trauma or the trials or like whatever she goes through, she's still open-minded and soft-hearted. And I think that's one thing that a lot of romantasy, fantasy, female characters end up like developing away from. Like they get jaded, they get like cutthroat, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have talked many times that we love us a strong, badass female character. But I think what kind of sets Arin apart is she still remains like this very soft-hearted, like beautiful, wants to help people human being regardless of everything that the world has put her through. And I just think it's a really important message that you can be soft and kind even though the world is hard and cruel.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of that in books 5 and 6.
That's a very important quality to have. Thank you for sharing your feelings with us. So I have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I will push it up the ever-growing list of things. If only you could see the stack of books that I have here. Onyx Storm is still in that stack.
Oh my god, I keep forgetting that you haven't even read that yet.
I'm still on
That's
chapter
so funny.
15.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Are we ready to rate?
Sure.
Darkness 2?
2? I guess we'll go with 2 because it was said 2. I feel like somebody who read it more recently maybe argue for a higher ranking just because of some things that happen. Because one thing that Raven was not shy about was like the brutality of death in a lot of situations, or even like the brutality of the abuse, like with the ribbons. But I think overall, as a whole, I would say it wouldn't be above a 2.
Yeah. The only reason why I'd push it up to the 3 is because of the ribbons.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
that scene.
that was yeah. I would equate that scene to like a very intense sexual assault scene because it's such a integral part of her that he is destroying.
Mm-hmm. Man. Ugh. Gut-wrenching.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's just say if it was gut-wrenching for Mistie,
See, that's saying something.
then that's saying something.
Yeah, that tore me up. Oh, man. That was hard. That was
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spicy?
It's not a particularly spicy series until later in the series, and even then it's not I think that's one of the things that I loved about this series, and it's kind of it can be harder to find, is it's a well written, in my opinion, well written romantasy series that the smut is a sub plot line. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a main draw for it at all. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love it so much.
I just want to say that there was nothing wrong with the writing. I think the writing was very well done. The story, again, once you get past some of my personal hurdles, it's really well written
Yeah.
and good and woven together in such a way that I'm fucking still reading the shit. It's just taking a lot longer. Okay. I'm going to blame it on the flight. That's what I'm going to blame it on. It was because I was uncomfortable and I was in an environment that there was probably a lot of negative energy, and that just reflected my emotional feelings on reading it.
Well-being. Yeah.
But I agree with what you're saying. Like, you're not there for any kind of sex. And
Yeah.
I think she has sex with Midas once, but it's kind of like behind closed doors, doesn't she?
They Oh,
We
yeah,
don't.
I think basically the you like he used me as a saddle tonight type of
Yeah.
situation.
I think that only happened once, but we didn't actually see it. So the only time that there's any sex on the page is the first time she has sex with Rip.
And the way Raven wrote that slow burn, like that, I have never read a scene that was so worth the buildup.
Mm-hmm.
Like she did that so incredibly well.
So I would say for the spicy, a 2, and only a 2 because we
Yeah,
just
I would.
have that one scene.
Yeah,
Now,
I
if
would.
we're rating just that scene would probably be like a 3 or a 4. But for the whole book,
So
because there are the Saddles who are having sex, and like that, you know that it's happening off page or behind closed doors. I think a 2 is appropriate.
yeah, agreed.
And then overall, the first 3 books.
I mean that's hard for me because it's been almost 4 years since I read them. But the fact that I would reread them, my reread score tends to be at least a 4. So I would say between a 3 and a 4, or 3.5, something like that. I would like to reread them with new eyes now that I've read other things. My horizons have been expanded. um so it would be interesting to see what I would rate the 3 books as a reread. But knowing how much I loved them and recommended them when I read them, I would say it would be plausible for me to rate it between 3.5 and 4.
I would say a 3. And that could possibly change once I finish book 4 and then start 5 and 6.
Dude, once you're done with the series, like, first of all, I'm going to cry like a big old baby on that episode because there is, I think, 2 or 3 chapters in book 6 that like changed me fundamentally as a human.
Really?
And spoiler, it has nothing to do with Slater Arin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will probably love it.
Good to know.
Because it's so your type of scene, but I couldn't think about that scene for days without like immediately crying. What are you doing? Don't you start Googling
No,
stuff.
I was pulling up the Arlington Public Library. I was pulling up the public
Oh, okay, good.
library so I could see if the books are available.
I just saw her typing over on her computer and I was like, don't you do it. Stop it.
Oh, I love you so much, Jen. Let's
I
see.
love you.
Browse. What is book 4 called? Glimmer? Gleam?
Gold.
I thought book 5 was gold.
Isn't that what you asked?
No, book 4.
Oh, glow.
Glow.
Yeah, it's glow, gold, and goldfinch are the last 3. Now that is I want the completed series set in white so bad.
Oh, hey, it's in. Maybe taking a trip to the library to pick them up.
That would make me so happy.
I'm glad. Any last words?
Any last I don't know what's wrong with me today.
It's okay. It's Friday, right?
Yeah, thank God it's Friday. No, I just need everyone to read this series and then tell us how much you loved it. And if you hate it, don't say anything.
You can message me.
Yeah, message Mistie. Y'all
Let
y'all can complain about all of the things that were wrong together. But
Yeah.
leave me out of it. I will keep my head in the sand. Please, Kay, thanks.
We will protect you.
So no, I think that's it. Do you have any final words?
Nope. Just look out for part 2 coming at some point.
Yep. All right, listeners, have you read the Plated Prisoner series? What would you rate the series if you had? And if you know the scene that I'm talking about in book 6, don't say anything. Keep it a secret because we're not letting Misty know any spoilers. Okay? Okay. Tag us on Instagram at Bones of the Story, and we'll see you next time. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
and Jenn,
signing off from Bones of the Story.